I'm going to be showing today how to make a coconut shampoo bar. We all know that store-bought shampoos have toxic chemicals that can irritate our skin, leave our hair dull, break the ends, and do all kinds of other harm to our bodies. So what I love to do, I like to make my own if I can. So to make a homemade shampoo bar, we only need 3 ingredients. That's it. So it's coconut oil, any kind of coconut oil. I get this one. Then distilled water. It has to be distilled. I buy it in the baby section. And sodium hydroxide. This is lye. In other words, this is lye. So it is poisonous because it can irritate your skin quickly. But when we do the soap, sodium hydroxide in the chemical reaction with oil turns into saponified substance, soap. So there is no sodium hydroxide in the shampoo bar because it turns into soap. So it's going to be very safe and very healthy for us. So one thing to know, when you use sodium hydroxide, always wear your gloves and try to not get it on your skin because it might cause burns. So I use my safety goggles and my mask when I mix it up with water. So I'll show you step by step how to do it. We're gonna need a few tools. First tool is the immersion blender, just any kind of the immersion blender that you can immerse. Safety goggles, gloves, crock pot, and kitchen scale. We're going to measure our ingredients. I will put the recipe in the bottom section. So we measure all of our ingredients. We do not mix it. Use your gloves to measure powder of sodium hydroxide, and be very careful. Don't spill any of it because it can cause burns. So first step, I'm going to go outside carefully with my sodium hydroxide and with my distilled water and add sodium hydroxide in the water and mix it up. Ready? I'm wearing my goggles. Also, I have a little spatula over here to mix my sodium hydroxide in the water. So this is the sodium hydroxide, and make sure do not breathe the fumes. Wear your mask and safety goggles if you're doing it for the first time. So as you can see, I slowly add sodium hydroxide in the water. It's going to cause bubbles and it will get very, very hot, but that's normal. See the steam is coming out? It's a chemical reaction. I'm not breathing in the fumes. After you bring your tools inside, I like to use my sink with water, and I add some distilled vinegar to it. So the distilled vinegar will cause a chemical reaction to take out that burning, to disable the sodium hydroxide. Now I measure the coconut oil. I measure it and I put it in the crock pot, and I typically put it in the microwave for about 3-5 minutes to get it all melted so it's nice and liquid. I'll show you the consistency. So this is a melted coconut oil. So the next step would be, I'm going to be adding my water and sodium hydroxide into my coconut oil, and then with immersion blender blend it. I brought my water with sodium hydroxide back inside, and I'm going to be slowly pouring this solution into the crock pot with coconut oil. I kind of stay away, and it's a good idea to wear safety goggles if you're doing it for the first time. Slowly pour it in. Do not try to not to splatter, and stir it. So again, I put this in the sink filled with water and a little bit of vinegar, or in the container in the tub, and I put this in there too. Right? Now I'm going to take my immersion blender, plug it in, and I'm going to be on the low speed mixing my oil with distilled water and sodium hydroxide slowly till it comes to a trace consistency. So now our oil, water, and sodium hydroxide turned into soap. So, but it's not done yet. Now we're going to plug in our crock pot, and on high, we're going to cook our soap for about maybe 30 minutes. You're going to see how the edges will start rising. It's going to be cooking, and in the middle it will be a puddle of oil. And then we'll stir it up, and then again we'll let it cook a little longer and rise again. We're going to turn it off, and then we're going to put it in our mold. So now the soap has risen, and there is a little bit of oil over here in the middle. So we're going to quickly stir it up. And let it rise one more time. It's going to be very quick, and then it's going to be done. And now it is done. There is no more oil puddles. And you see this consistency. It is cooked all the way through. And I took it off the crock pot. I'm going to add about 10 drops of the essential oil. Any essential oil that you love. And I'll stir it up and start putting my shampoo bar in these molds. You can use any molds. You can line like a loaf dish with the parchment paper, and you can use that too. I used to use that before I had these. I got one mold full. So now all we need to do is to wait for it to harden. It's going to be a few hours, maybe about 3 to 4 hours, and then we can cut it. Right, guys. All right, now my soap is ready. It's been hardening for about 3 hours, I think. And look how nice it is. I love making shampoo bars. So I'm going to be cutting it with this special tool, but you can use the knife. All right, it's ready now. It's hard, and I can use it right now already. It's ready to use. It smells delicious. I used the peppermint essential oil, and I got about 10 bars like this, so this will last us for a long time. You can make your own one.